Everybody, we are doing the four painting analysis, and as usual, we're gonna start off with JMW Turner, and he's gonna pop up right here. Here's a self-portrait of what he looked like, and right now we're gonna go on one of the paintings I chose. Mainly is this is called the slave ship. This is a picture that depicts a ship in the background and is basically throwing off slaves. The idea of inside outside in this painting is basically how the ship is the inside thought and the people that are thrown outside are outside. It's not much shown. It's very much subtle compared to other examples that we're gonna see. But anyways, so the picture has a good contrast between the colors, between the blue sea or bluish sea, orange sea, and the very bright red orange sky. Second of all, we see a bit of asymmetrical and symmetrical. If you cut this picture in half, you get both sides. However, there's a ship in the background that kind of breaks it. Third of all, we have a lot of movement. There's a lot of movement and intense movement. We can see that as the ship is just going along and how we see the people struggling inside the waters. And it has not that much negative space, I have to admit. There's a lot of mixture in the background and there's a lot happening. So yeah, that's another one part. And there's not much repetition I could say, but it's very, in my opinion, it's a beautiful painting. And I think there is not much of a big meaning to this. There's not like this huge emotional meaning, but it's just there just to show this nature and how beautiful it is. And again, this is called the slave ship. And now we're going on another picture I just chose as a quick bit, and this is called the fisherman at sea. The fisherman at sea, this is more of just like a lot of negative space, blue sea, asymmetrical as usual. We have a good contrast with the shining from the moon, but at the same time there's a lot of movement in the picture with a bit of negative space, but not as much. There's a lot in the ocean. We can see a lot of black in the forefront. And now we're going up to the next artist I chose, which is Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali, another famous and amazing artist, and we're going to start off with one of his most famous paintings, The Persistence of Memory. The Persistence of Memory is a picture depicting how we think about life, how it's just memory just going down and just time being wasted and wasted, as you can see, and the clocks are literally melting on the side. In my opinion, there's a negative space. It has a good contrast, however, it's very subtle. It's very subtle, but the idea of inside outside in this picture links to the fact that it's psychological very much, in the sense it's like this is from his head, not from outside. He's taken influences from outside, put them in his head, and just mixed them all together. Like, you don't see mixing melting clocks or anything like this, and it's just really psychological. It's something that plays with your mind but also makes you think a lot. And of course, continuing to talk, there's a pretty good contrast. It's asymmetrical and I think why Salvador Dali decided to make this picture is basically he wanted just to show we're wasting time, and it's just influencing how like we see time as just nothing. But in general, it is something big, because every second that we waste, it's gone for good. So this is just showing how the clocks are melting slowly. We're going to another piece of his works, and this is again another good idea of inside outside. Look, okay, first of all, this is also very psychological. It is from the head, but as well as that, this picture, this painting, like it's a fish that's spewing out a tiger. First of all, there's an asymmetrical, very subtle, very bold, like you can see, and there's good contrast, and there's negative space and all that. Yeah, it's a beautiful painting and it has a good idea of inside. Now we're going to Hokusai, one of my personal favorites. I love Hokusai. And we're going to one of my favorite works. This is called The Great Wave. Now this is a picture that has negative space, and it has a lot of things to talk about in this one picture. As you can easily see, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of natural force that you can see. Hokusai sprint to show a beautiful, like a major natural force that shows it should not be messed with. There's a lot of a bit of negative space in the background, and as well as that, we only use a very simple color palette, very bluish, white, just to show the light loss, and we can see Mount Fuji in the background. Now, to me, that is enough just to show how deadly this wave could have been if it was going to take place in the era that we live in now. Now, the reason I think Hokusai drew this or printed this is that he wanted to show the natural force of a wave, natural force, just natural force in general. And the inside-outside link in this picture is basically that nature is just affects us really hard. In the sense is that we could be safe at home, but we always know that we're gonna get affected by nature some way or another, and this is a perfect representation. So nature, in a sense, is scary of the world beautiful, and that's what Hokusai tries to do. Another great example is from this painting. It's another great print of just a lot of natural raw emotion and power from nature, and it's just, I look at it and I feel I'm gonna get washed away by it. This is how Hokusai has created such an influence and a great movement by just creating sweet creatures. Even James W. Turner painting are very similar to this in the way of nature. So now we're gonna go into David Hockney, a very modern artist, and we're gonna see one of his first paintings. This one, I link it to Inside Outside because, first of all, this painting it shows someone having fun and cool while someone's just watching it sadly. This just makes me feel like, where would I rather be? Outside dry or inside water? Fun. It's this idea of inside the water or outside into the nature. Anyway, so we see it's asymmetrical as usual. We've seen a lot of asymmetrical works. Most of the works I have chosen are asymmetrical. It's the people in the painting that have a high emphasis on them, as you can see, especially the man that's just standing there. As well as that, there's a good bit of the background. The background looks beautiful and amazing, and it just contrasts well with the white pavement and the two people, one standing and one swimming. Another thing that I have noticed in this painting is that there's a very hot. It's very bold. Like the man's jacket, it's very bold. It's like right in front of you. It's that beautiful. And I'm in love with this picture, and I swear to all of the pictures. Right? But to me, this just shows pure sadness for the person sitting outside. He looks sad, but at the same time, he's looking down at the man, just thinking, am I lucky or am I unlucky? What am I doing? I'm dry, but at the same time, yeah. So here's another picture with another pool, again, asymmetrical, the paddleboard on one side. Now, the emphasis in this picture is kind of weird. It's mainly the splash and how the emphasis and how the subtlety is very subtle, but as you can see, when you start to look, there's a lot of clearing up. There's reflection on the windows, there's a directed and there's just larger responses. Again, David Hockney, a genius in my opinion. So, that's all the time we have, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed and please learn something, and good night.